Welcome to Wine Wednesday, everybody. We got a Austrian flavored theme for you today. Not just your average Austrian wines. We're going with some deep takes today, right? Some like cool, old school, unexpected, unique, fun, different grape varieties. Some of them we don't even really know what they are.
Oh, come on. You gotta have a little idea.
Somewhat. I don't know. I've always known Austrian wines as sort of from the classics, right? The regions like Wachau and the steep slopes, down to the river valleys, the sort of more, classic Gruner Veltliner, Riesling, those kind of grape varieties. But we're not hitting any of those today, are we?
No, there really isn't, especially in the little white from Schneider. They have their take on the Austrian field blend.
Right. You want to say it? Should I take a crack at it? What do you think?
Gemischter Satz.
Nice.
How'd I do?
I like it. Snappy.
Sometimes if you say it faster, it rolls off the tongue a little easier. Nobody really knows what you're saying.
Into your sleeve a little bit. I don't know. I'm really excited about this wine. So this was kind of a fun discovery we had. We were at an organic wine show in Montpellier in the south of France, looking more for French wines. Stumbled across this little set of wines and a kind-looking gentleman standing behind them with a big smile. And I thought, Austrian wines, love them, but they're always so expensive. But I got a hold of the price sheets, and I kind of saw what they were doing here, and I was really, really surprised to see that the prices were more than reasonable, kind of everyday drinking prices.
100%. None of these wines are more than $30 that we have on feature this weekend, and I love this little white wine.
Would you say it's the best Gemischter Satz you've ever had?
Best and only, but absolutely the best. The fun thing with Gemischter is that you can actually take one little plot of land and you can plant up to 17 different varieties in the same field.
Everyone in the pool.
When they come through, do all their little hand picking, because they do everything organic and by hand. And just take the ripest and the best looking fruit. So you don't really always know 100% what is going to be in there exactly, but they sure make it tasty.
There's rules, but there's not really any rules, right? Is that what you're saying?
Loose rules.
Yeah. What does it taste like to you? What do you get on that?
I get a lot of like that pear and a little bit more tropical on the nose, but then on the palate you get this kind of like crisp lemony finish to it, which is one of my favorite things.
That's spicy, right? Mm-hmm. Like I get almost like Gewürztraminer kind of notes to it, but not over that far. But it's like crisp and clean and orangey and zesty, but it's not really sweet, is it?
No.
It's pretty bone dry.
And only 12.5 in alcohol, so again, kind of on that like lighter side a little bit.
Love it.
Yep.
When I met these guys and I started to taste through their wines, I came across this guy, and they didn't want to pour it for me. So the whole story was, this was a wine along with its partner. So this is a 1 liter bottle. Not sure if you can see that. 1 liter red. They have a 1 liter white as well in Gruner Veltliner. But they don't pour this. They don't usually let this one leave the winery. They got a little restaurant actually at this spot. It's a tiny little family winery. So imagine the house is there, the vineyards are there. They've got a little restaurant, seats a few people, and this is kind of the house for him. So he didn't want to let us have it, but we bullied him a little bit until he finally lets them go.
Usually I'd say I don't want you to bully people, but I'm really glad you did, because it's a great little wine.
Yeah, but I'm glad I did, because he actually had to make this label just for us, because they don't even put a label on it. It's the house for, right? What does it need a label for? You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
You want to talk Zweigelt?
All right.
You know the history of Zweigelt, or where it comes from?
A little bit.
Yeah. So they make another wine there. We don't have it today because they make a lot of wine. We're not featuring them all this week, but we can always be coerced into opening an extra bottle. But they make a wine called Saint Laurent, and Saint Laurent is a grape variety, a little bit of a mysterious background. It came from Pinot Noir, stepping out with something we don't know what, because nobody really knows. But it's Pinot Noir based, and then Pinot Noir made the sort of parentage, right, for Saint Laurent, and then Saint Laurent got together with Blaufränkisch to make a baby Zweigelt, right?
Say it all really fast and maybe backwards.
That's the way the story goes. And what you get with this is a really bright, fresh, really energetic wine. Not a lot of tannin, but it's not washed out and light. There's some real life in this. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, it always smells like a little bit wild to me. Like it's kind of more that savory side of Pinot Noir. You get tons of bright red fruit, a little bit of that pepperiness that comes from the Blaufränkisch, right? So it just makes for a really interesting wine for $23 on a liter a bottle.
They're cheap. It really pushes the Pinot Noir buttons for me though, and it's interesting to know that Pinot Noir was sort of like at the party back in the patronage somewhere there, because I do get that like super like, you know, kind of those, you know, sauvage characters in Pinot, that bright sherry character.
Yeah.
The thing that I love about this is just like the texture of this wine. You can just like, this is your picnic wine, right? You can just like fly through this one.
Yeah, to call it your table wine or your little bistro wine fits it perfectly. Like that would be really food friendly. You can just drink it on its own. It doesn't really need anything, but it will work well with anything. So
doesn't put up much of a fight, right? Once you get the old capsule off there, nice. All these guys are in screw caps.
And that's
too,
why
right?
you had to get it in a liter, because you're going to want the extra glass.
You're gonna want that extra glass for sure. You are, and then a little Pinot Noir. Also a fun one.
Yeah, a lot of the vineyard sites that they have, you know, they kind of go. Wow. All right.
Catch up.
Sorry. But they've got really stony, like limestone and big, like rocky soils, which is super important because you need to get that warmth that's stored that can kind of keep the vines maturing and getting ripe enough, right?
Right. So we're in the Thurman region here. It's kind of interesting to note. So we're not in a more traditional area. Actually, it's a traditional area, but it's not one of the areas that I knew. It's just south of Vienna. And rather than the steep slopes, you get the rolling hills. And they've really followed more of like a French sort of Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, those type of grape varieties versus like the more Riesling-based wines that you typically see from Austria. And I think this is one of the best deals in the store for Pinot Noir. Because as we know, Pinot Noir, never cheap. And it's hard to find good examples that are less than $30, right?
Yeah, our quest for value Pinot continues, but I think we really landed on a success with this bottle.
This one is hammered good. It is such a classic nose on it. It really smells like just like a super high quality Pinot Noir. It's elegant, it's fresh, it's floral. It's just like, it's got tons to say.
It's super floral.
Yeah,
that's
I love
awesome.
this.
It smells like dried roses.
I'm gonna buy a bottle of that tonight. Just sold myself a bottle of wine. How's that? That's the way it goes
Good
sometimes.
job.
All right, want to talk about your pack?
Yeah, so we took the Pinot, we put it in the pack, we paired it up with a few other Austrian wines and a couple German wines, just so you can get that experience and taste of what all of those cooler climate regions have to offer. So Pinot we've talked about. We've got the Classic here from Schneider, another $23 killer bottle, a little bit fuller and spicier than just the Zweigelt here, but
love that one.
Crushable little bottle. Heinrich, we threw in his Blaufränkisch, so now you can kind of taste like all the parents, you can taste the kids, you get all, all that the grapes have to offer. And of course, they do a little rosé that's super, super fun, based off Blaufränkisch as well. These guys are cool too because they take the organics to the next level. They've moved into biodynamics. They're considered natural winemaker, but in that really friendly, approachable style of natural wine.
All right, and a couple of classics. I love this guy. Is that the Sauvignon Blanc you got?
Oh, yeah.
Sauvignon Blanc from Germany. You just never get to taste it. It's such an unusual expression of the grape variety. It reminds me more of a French style than a New World style. It's definitely got that minerality, that nice sort of chalky character to it. If you haven't had that yet, that's a good enough reason alone to get that pack. So, what's she going for? The whole 6-pack?
$149, so it's almost $20 off if you were to buy them all on their own. So come in, try out the 6-pack. It's really going to hit all the flavors, all the different styles of wine. You will not be disappointed. And come in and taste these with us because Kevin's opened all three. So
yeah, we're ready to go. We'll be here.
We got
Hop
things
in.
to do.
We'll still be around though. We'll open more if we need to. We're not scared to get the corkscrew. We don't even need the corkscrew because they're all twist off. So you know,
it'll be fast.
No barrier to entry. We'll see you on the weekend.